So we are here with Abbie McCarthy. It's just a few hours now until the Freshers finale at Warwick SU today. There's a lot of excitement on campus. Abbie, you all ready for tonight? You excited?
I am so excited. I love doing Freshers stuff, and it's so nice to be back at Warwick, my old university.
You've become almost, I would say, you're a raw legend anyway.
Thanks.
But you've become almost like just this huge figure we all look up to in the society, and it's so great that you come back all the time. We're really grateful for that. You've just given a talk to a lot of the society, and I'd be kind of interested to know sort of how Raw has shaped sort of you as a presenter, like what you think student radio offers in terms of opportunities, and just sort of how valuable it is as an experience.
Student radio is literally the best thing ever, I would say. It's just like a platform you can use to try out as much as possible and kind of work out what works and also what doesn't work. Like, some of my early shows on Raw were terrible, but I think I needed those to happen to work out, how to be a good presenter. Yeah. It's all about like air miles and practice and things like that. And yeah, when I was at Raw, I met some of my really good friends, and they were all really supportive and all taught me so much. I kind of learned everything technically while I was at Raw, like how a studio works, and then got better at my presenting, and I definitely learned a lot of production while I was at Raw because I'd not done no radio before that. I think it's got me to where I am now, basically. I think, so if you're listening and you're thinking about getting into student radio, go and do it, basically. It's the most fun ever.
There we go. Well, I mean, if we need an advert for our Freshers fairs, we've just done it. Yeah, thank you. And then in terms of, I'm kind of interested to know that contrast between student radio, where you're really free to do anything. There are no limits. You can just go along, make a fool of yourself on air for an hour if you want to. How do you find when you moved? You obviously then moved over to BBC Introducing in Kent. What was was there a difficult transition, or did you find it quite natural, and was it straightforward going into it?
I would say it was quite simple, because I felt really confident at that point, because I'd done student radio and I'd got to a good level and I felt really confident doing it, and I was used to being on air. I was obviously a bit scared because I was like, oh wow, this is the BBC now. This is really happening. They've decided to give me a job. So it was a bit scary in that way, but actually after a few shows I just really relaxed into it and then just began to enjoy it and realise how lucky I am, really.
Yeah. And then as you've moved on in your career, you've gradually started working a bit more Radio 1, doing some like the production side of things. What's it like? I mean, you've worked with Annie Mac, you've worked with Scott Mills. Do you find it sort of difficult when you go from you're dealing with such a huge range of presenters? I imagine they all have very different styles. Mm-hmm. Do you find is that a real challenge, balancing it all as a producer compared to, it was something obviously you were kind of thrown in quite at the deep end. Mm. Did you find that a difficult adjustment?
Yeah, I think a little bit at the start. It's very much about just adapting as quickly as possible, because like you say, every presenter wants something different. And also, say you said Annie Mac and Scott Mills, their shows are completely different. Annie Mac's very much like new music, fast-paced, always discovering the best new things as quickly as possible, whereas Scott Mills is very much about like storytelling and involving the listeners and telling jokes. So it's kind of, you just have to adapt as quickly as possible, really, but you soon get used to it, and and then it soon becomes part of your routine.
And so ultimately, I mean, you've started off from production side of things. You said in our talk just now, we were hearing that you would like to be a presenter, and you do a lot of presenting already. What was it like when you got that first call, hearing that you were going to be covering Hugh Stevens? Was it just a dream come true? I imagine a huge amount of work goes in there. I just wondered what that experience was like.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Like, when you get the call, you're like, oh God, this is it. This is the moment that I've kind of always dreamt of. It is a proper, dreams can come true moment, which sounds cheesy, but it's 100% true. Yeah. It feels like all your kind of hard work up until that point has paid off, and it was definitely like a big career goal ticked off for me. So it was just like the most incredible feeling, really.
Real. Yeah. Were you nervous? I imagine you were very nervous first show, or did you just sort of zone in and you were, this is me now, this is where I want to be, in I go?
I think because it's something I've always wanted to do, I actually felt oddly quite relaxed in the day. I was excited, but I was like, just the show's happening later. Yeah. And then basically the nerves kind of hit me when I played the opener, and it had like my name in it, and it was like Radio 1, and I was like, oh yeah, this is actually happening, and a lot of people are listening, and it kind of dawned on me. So you get this like huge burst of adrenaline. But I think that's a good thing for a show, to have that energy and that enthusiasm. So as long as you channel it in the right way, it's fine.
Yeah. I remember I listened to that show, and that moment when I heard you come in, it's just like a lot of raw listening, and it's just every dream coming. It just sounds incredible, and I just like so happy for you. It's so exciting. And sort of in the future, you've also covered some Matt Edmondson shows. What I mean, do you prefer doing sort of you're obviously you're very into your music. You run like you run club nights and stuff in London. What sort of, do you see yourself as more of would you like to see yourself more as an entertainment presenter, or would you like to be more sort of kind of late night radio on specialist music? Where do you sort of see yourself heading?
I think the best broadcasters, well, the ones I admire the most, are really well-rounded, so they're kind of good at everything. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. I think new music is definitely my passion, and discovering new bands and giving them a platform and telling people about them is also really important. But I also think it's important to be an entertaining presenter as well, and getting listeners to get to know you. My favourite presenters feel like they're my mates, because I know them because I've listened to them so many years. So it's getting your listeners familiar with you, and just engaging with them, telling them stories and things like that, so they feel like they get to know you. So I think I kind of want to do a bit of both, really, to be the best presenter that I can be.
And to all the the aspiring presenters out there, there's a lot of us here at Raw, there's a lot of us at every student radio station, and all around the country. What would you say, sort of like if you could maybe perhaps if you considered thinking back to your past self, what would be like the one piece of advice that you would give, like the key to succeed in the industry?
Be good. Make people take notice of you. So they obviously kind of tied in together, really. So if you want to get noticed by a big national broadcaster, you need to be doing the work. So if you want a new music show, you need to be breaking bands and putting on club nights and have a really amazing new music podcast. If you want to do the breakfast show, you need to be getting out there and getting your name out there, and attending premieres and trying to go to like fashion events and championing big pop tunes. I think you just need to be doing something where people go, wow, they are really good at what they do, and we need a piece of that.
And I think it's easy to sort of overlook and just assume, that all like the big presenters you see out there, like particularly like Annie and Mac, who like, and that you sort of instantly go to the level where they're at now. But it's a long slog, isn't it? You have to be willing to put in the hours and really go for it. Like you mentioned earlier in the talk that you used to work in Subway.
Represent.
And what sort of how did you find sort of did you ever find yourself disheartened with the industry? Did you ever think, no, I can't do this anymore, it's not happening? Or could you always see like the end goal?
It's so up and down. Sometimes something will be going really well, like I'd get a bit of work experience, or I'd do a particularly good show on my student radio station, obviously Raw, or I'd do a really good show when I was doing community radio and be like, this is working. And then another time I'd email lots of people and you don't hear anything back. And you're doing lots of things for free and you just think, this isn't sustainable, I'm not sure. So you just have to stay true to the end goal. I always knew that I wanted to work at Radio 1, so I basically was like, I'm not going to stop until I get there. Even if I have to work a bit of a rubbish job to make money on the side, that's what I'll do, and I'm just going to keep working hard until it happens.
I've actually, now the next question, Henry asked me to ask this to you, okay, so this is all on him. When you were working at Subway, what was your favourite Subway?
Oh, good question.
It's a big one. Finally we get to see
it's BMT.
BMT.
On herbs and cheese, toasted with double cheese, bit of lettuce, bit of onion, bit of sweet corn, and the secret ingredient, Southwest sauce.
Southwest, really?
It's good.
Okay, I remember when I was introduced to ranch sauce, and that was a big moment for me.
Close second, maybe.
What bread did you go for, by the way, there?
Herbs and cheese.
Herbs and cheese. Okay.
It's the only way.
I'll think about that one. I'll make sure I go and try that one. Yeah. And so now you're like very firmly at Radio 1. You've obviously you must have had some like quite amazing surreal moments. I mean, obviously presented your first show, but like in terms of the people you've met, is there basically just a name-dropping story where you've just met some incredible people, and you just look around the room and you think, what am I doing here?
Oh, cool. Let's have some name-drop clangs then. So Dave Grohl was in the other day. Clang from the Foo Fighters. That was good. So that's the great thing. Sometimes you get in the lift and you're like, oh, that's that's that person. Britney Spears was quite a good one. Lots of us were super excited because she's one of those people that like we all grew up listening to, but we'd never seen her in person. So it was like, is she real?
Yeah.
So we were all kind of like waiting excitedly outside. That was a big moment. Obviously, so many amazing like big names like roll through the live lounge. So that's always pretty exciting. Björk was in the other day, who's amazing. Yeah. Adele, when she was in, was just incredible because she's Adele. Yeah. There's so many, and like, that's what is amazing. Sometimes you have no idea who's going to be in the building. Yeah. And sometimes you literally walk into them and you're like, oh, hi. I did that with Idris Elba. Literally walked into him as I came into the corridor. Smelled lovely.
Yeah, I really.
Great guy.
Any chance you could give like the listener, like the viewers at home, what cologne he was wearing, perhaps, just for anyone wanting to?
Something musky and beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Really. That's the key.
On point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much tonight.
Thank you very much.
I know it's going to be a huge one at Freshers Fair. You, what can the Freshers expect? What sort of thing will you be bringing tonight? Is it going to be a very house heavy set? You're obviously warming up for Sigala and Jax Jones. Just what are your plans for the evening? Just
really big party tunes to get everyone in the mood for Sigala and Jax Jones, and just loads of fun. I can't wait. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be a good night. Well, thank you so much for coming, Abbie McCarthy. It's always a pleasure to have you back here, and you're always welcome here at Warwick. So hopefully next year, if you're back Fresh Fair again, which I'm sure you'll be headlining next year.
Oh, that's the dream, isn't
it? I reckon I can see like a you and David Guetta back to back in the copper rooms. That'd be inspirational.
David Guetta, what's Warwick's budget these days?
Well, not David Guetta. We might.
Just me.
Yeah. Well, no, we might. Who knows? The sky's the limit for the SU here. But thank you so much for your time,
Thank you very much.
and good luck tonight.
Thank you.